Good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday, the 20th of March, and Narelle has made landfall. Severe tropical cyclone Narelle crossed the Cape York Peninsula coast earlier today and is now moving west across the peninsular interior. As of the Bureau of Meteorology's 1 o'clock advisory, Narelle remains a Category 3 system, still severe, still dangerous. The cyclone has weakened from its peak intensity as expected when moving over land, but it is not finished yet. Narelle is expected to enter the Gulf of Carpentaria tonight and then re-intensify before striking the Northern Territory on Saturday night. This is still a two-state emergency. We have a lot to cover, so let's get into it. At 1 o'clock this afternoon, bomb placed Narelle's centre within 30 kilometres of 13.2 degrees south, 142.7 degrees east. That puts the centre approximately 90 kilometres northwest of Cohen and 680 kilometres east of Alyangula in the Northern Territory. Narelle is moving west-northwest at 20 kilometres per hour, bringing conditions toward the Western Peninsula communities, including Waipa and Aurukun. Sustained winds near the centre are 130 kilometres per hour, with gusts reaching 185 kilometres per hour. Category 3 sustained winds and gusts of that strength are still destructive, dangerous to structures, trees and anyone caught outside. Bombs advisory confirms Narelle is continuing to weaken as it moves over land, but the system currently remains a severe tropical cyclone. Let's look at what the current warning zones are, because these have been updated since this morning. The active warning zone in Queensland covers Cape York Peninsula between Lockhart River and Cape Melville on the eastern side. It also covers the Western Peninsula between Mapoon and Pormpuraaw, including Waipa and Aurukun. Importantly, BOM has cancelled the warning zone between Cape Melville and Cohen. Conditions there are easing as the centre moves away. The Northern Territory watch zone remains active from Nullarbor in the north down to Port MacArthur, including Borroloola, Numbulwar, Alyangula, Nuku and Bullman. Now let's go through the hazards state by state, starting with what is happening in Queensland right now. Very destructive wind gusts to 185 kilometres per hour remain possible near the centre of Narelle this afternoon. Destructive gusts to 160 kilometres per hour are likely to persist near the centre as Narelle continues west across the peninsula today. These destructive gusts may affect Waipa and Aurukun this afternoon and evening. If you are in those communities, this threat is immediate. Gales with damaging gusts to 120 kilometres per hour are forecast to extend across a broader area of the peninsula, including communities between Mapoon and Pormpuraaw. If you are in Waipa, Aurukun, Mapoon or Pormpuraaw, shelter now and do not go outside until BOM issues the all clear for your area. On rainfall, heavy rain likely to cause flash flooding continues across a large area bounded by Lockhart River, Cape Flattery, Pormpuraaw and Mapoon today. Locally intense rainfall is possible within this zone. Rivers and creeks across the peninsula can rise extremely rapidly with very little warning. Do not attempt any creek crossings or low-level road crossings anywhere on Cape York Peninsula today or tonight. If it's flooded, forget it. That applies to every road on the peninsula right now, without exception. On the coast, once Narelle moves into the Gulf of Carpentaria tonight, tides along the Western Peninsula between Waipa and Kowanyama may run above normal. Large waves are expected to produce minor flooding of low-lying coastal areas in that zone. If you are in a low-lying coastal area, move to higher ground now. For the communities on the Eastern Peninsula that have already been through the worst of it, remain sheltered until BOM officially clears your area. Do not go outside to assess damage while the system is still active. Downed power lines, debris and unstable structures remain serious hazards. Emergency services cannot reach affected areas while the storm is still active. Your safety depends on staying sheltered until conditions officially clear. Now let's turn to the Northern Territory, because this is where the story is heading next and preparation time is running out. After crossing the peninsula, Narelle will move into the Gulf of Carpentaria tonight, and BOM is forecasting re-intensification back to a severe tropical cyclone before a second landfall on the Northern Territory coast. The second landfall is forecast for the eastern Northern Territory coast from late Saturday into Saturday night. BOM's warning is clear. Very destructive winds are expected near the centre of Narelle as it approaches the Northern Territory coast on Saturday night. Right now, Gales are not expected in NT coastal areas in the next 24 hours, but that changes from Saturday afternoon. From Saturday afternoon, gales are expected to develop in coastal areas between Port MacArthur and Nhulunbuy as Narelle approaches from the east. Those gales will push inland to areas including Nguku on Saturday night or Sunday morning. A large area of the eastern top end will be affected. On rainfall, heavy rain with potential flash flooding is forecast for coastal and adjacent inland areas across the eastern top end between Port MacArthur and south of Nhulunbuy from late Saturday. The storm tide threat for the NT is serious and specific. BOM is warning of a potentially dangerous storm tide between Alyangula and Port Roper. As the cyclone centre crosses the NT coast, damaging waves and dangerous flooding are possible in that zone. This is the most acute coastal hazard for the NT. Tides will be elevated between Nhulunbuy and Port MacArthur from later Saturday, and through Sunday large waves may produce minor coastal flooding more broadly. For communities in the NT watch zone, Nhulunbuy, Alyangula, Numbulwar, Borroloola, Nguku, Bullman, you have today to finalise your preparations. Do not wait to see what happens in Queensland first. Your window to prepare is today, Friday, while conditions in your area are still manageable. Complete your emergency kit, know your local emergency shelter, review your cyclone plan with your family or household today. The NT watch zone may be upgraded to a warning zone as Narelle's track and intensity over the Gulf become clearer. Tonight, monitor BOM closely. Here is the timeline for the next 48 hours so you know exactly what to watch for and when. This afternoon, Narelle continues west across the Cape York Peninsula interior as a Category 3, bringing destructive winds to Waipa and Orokun. Tonight, Narelle enters the Gulf of Carpentaria and begins tracking west. Re-intensification is forecast by BOM. Saturday morning, Narelle continues tracking west across the Gulf. BOM updates will refine the NT landfall track and timing. Saturday afternoon, gales begin developing in NT coastal watch zone areas between Port MacArthur and Nhulunbuy. Saturday night, Narelle's second landfall on the eastern NT coast. Very destructive winds possible near the centre. Sunday, the NT landfall event unfolds fully. Heavy rainfall, flash flooding, elevated tides and dangerous storm tide between Alyangula and Port Roper. This is a 48-hour major weather emergency, 2 states, 2 separate landfall events, and the second one is still ahead of us. Here is the safety summary for right now, the most important actions depending on where you are. Eastern Cape York, Lockhart River, Cape Melville and surrounding communities remain sheltered and wait for BOM's official all clear for your area. Do not go outside to inspect damage, yet conditions may still be hazardous and downed power lines and debris remain serious risks. Waipa, Orokun, Mapoon, Pormpura, destructive and damaging winds are arriving or imminent. Shelter now and stay inside through the evening. Western Peninsula coast Waipa to Kawanyama, prepare for elevated tides and large waves as Narelle exits into the Gulf tonight. NT watch zone Nhulunbuy to Port MacArthur, including Borroloola, Alyangula, Nguku, finalise all preparations today while you still have time. If your life is in danger at any point, call 000, that is 000 immediately. For non-life-threatening storm and flood emergencies, call the State Emergency Service on 132 500. Check bom.gov.au for the most current cyclone track and your local government's disaster dashboard for community-specific updates and shelter information. We will publish a further update this evening once BOM issues its next advisory and Narelle's Gulf track becomes clearer. If you want to catch that the moment it goes live, hit like, subscribe and turn on notifications now. To all communities on Cape York Peninsula, you have been through the worst of it today. Stay sheltered, stay patient and wait for the official all clear. To everyone in the Northern Territory Watch Zone, your time to act is now. Take the warning seriously and prepare today. Stay safe everyone, follow official sources only and we will see you in the next update.